Good morning, fifth grade. Happy Friday. We're going to finish up the book today. We're going to start on chapter 12, lesson 6. It's the last chapter and lesson in our book. So let's figure out how we're going to get there. You're in your Google Classroom. Let's go over here to our classwork. Scroll all the way down here to chapter 12. Click on chapter 12, and we are here at our notes. It's chapter 12, lesson 6. Here's the notes key. Print them out. Follow along, and let's see what we have today. Today, what we're going to be dealing with in chapter 12, lesson 6, is selecting an appropriate display. Okay, so we're going to be looking at graphs. What type of graphs do we use for what type of data that we may encounter here? So if we look at the types of displays that we have, which are called our statistical displays, we have basically 5 basic types here. Now, there are more than this, but these are the 5 basic types that we're going to be working with here. So let's look here first. We've got ourselves a bar graph. So as you know what a bar graph is, we're dealing here with quadrant 1 and putting some type of bars in here to give us information on some specific our data here. Now, a bar graph shows the number of items in specific categories. So this is going to be key here. If we break things down into specific types of categories, then we'll be using a bar graph. Let's say you're doing a survey on the types of ice cream that you like. Well, we may say, hey, here's how many people like chocolate. Here's how many people like vanilla. Here's how many people like strawberry. So that's what we're looking at when we're dealing with a bar graph. So let's move on to the next one, a box plot. You should be familiar with the box plot before. This deals with our measures of variations of the data set. Now, as you know, we're dealing with our median here. Our median, our Q1, our Q3. We're dealing with our IQRs here. Okay, so we're dealing with our measures of our center when we're dealing here with a box plot. Let's look and see what we have next. We have our histogram. Okay, the histogram shows the frequency of data divided into equal intervals. If you remember, that's where we created our frequency table here. Okay, let's say, and we did our intervals here. Let's say we're saying, hey, how many people read from 0 to 99 pages in their book? Okay, we may say, okay, there were 3 people who did that. Okay, how many people read from 100 pages to 199 pages? Okay, and we say, hey, there's 8 people here. Okay, and remember, when we make that bar graph, it's a type of a bar graph, but if you remember here, okay, our bars are connected to one another. Okay, so this comes up over here, it's connected here. This may be our interval. This is our interval here from 0 to 99. And this interval here is from 100 to 199. And that we're basically just looking at things here in intervals. That is key here. Now, yesterday we looked at a line graph. And the key to the line graph is how things change over a period of time. That's extremely important, how things change over time. And we looked here, we could have a positive trend here, how things are changing over time. Or we can even have a negative trend, which means it goes downward here. But how things change over time, our time is located down here at the x-axis, and our units, whatever we're dealing with here, are at the y-axis. And then finally, our line plots. If you remember what the line plots are, that's our number line. Okay, we have all of our numbers in here, and we use our x's. Okay, we'll say, hey, this is 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So x here, x here, x here. We'll say there's an x here, and I'll put 2 here. So we can look here and say, okay, how many times does 1 occur in this? Well, 1, 2, 3, it occurs 3 times. How many times does 2 occur? It occurs once. How many times does 3 occur? It occurs twice. We can use things like this with the mode. We can see what occurs here most often. So these are 5 basic types of statistical displays that we'll be looking at in this lesson. So let's scroll down here. Let's look at some examples here. It says, which display allows you to tell the mode of the data here? Well, if we look here at this first one, hey, this is a line plot. So if we look at this line plot here, can we go from here and figure out what the mode is? Well, it means I have two 20s, two 23s, four 24s, three 25s, one 26. Oh, look at this here. I have five 27s here. I have one 29, two 30s, and one 31. So what number occurs most often? That would be the 27 here. 27 is our mode. We can tell our mode from here. Now in this here, can we tell what our mode is? No, not exactly. All that this box plot is saying, it says, hey, here's our median right here at 25. We know that 25% of the data is in this quadrant here, and then as in this quartile, and then we have 25% of the data here, 25% of the data here, 25% of the data here. We can see, hey, what our smallest number is. We can see what our largest number is. We can see what the IQR is. We can figure out what the range is. But guess what? We cannot tell what the mode is at all. So what we would say here is that the line plot shows the mode. And we can see the mode is 27. So let's look here at the next one. It says, which display allows you to see whether or not the number of injuries have steadily decreased since 2006. So this time period here, we're looking since 2006. So basically, we're looking at things over time. Since we're looking at things over time, you can see here, it's better to look at the line graph here. Over here with the line plot, it's really not going to tell us a lot here. It looks a little bit at the spread of the data, a little bit in what our modes are and stuff, but not a whole lot here. Since we're dealing with time, over a period of time, we definitely want to use this line plot here. And well, you can see it sort of has a negative trend. It's going on a downward trend here. So what we would say with this one here is we would say, hey, the line plot works best, and it's a negative type of a trend. Very good. Okay, next page. Not very long today, so that's good. It says a survey compared different brands of hair shampoo. The table shows the number of first choice responses for each brand. Select an appropriate type of display to compare the number of responses. Justify your choice. Okay, so if we were to look here, we say brand A had 35 responses, brand B had 12 responses, brand C 42, brand D was 24, brand E was 8, and brand F was 11. So if we go up here and we say, okay, are we looking at specific our categories and how many things are in specific the categories? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So a bar graph may be our number one choice here. A box plot. Are we dealing with our are we dealing with our median? Are we dealing with our larger numbers, our IQRs, all that stuff? Nope, so that doesn't work there. A histogram. Are we putting things into equal intervals? Answer that is no with that. Are we looking at how things have changed over time? Nope, not with that. A line plot. How many times does each number occur? No, it doesn't work that way. We're dealing here with specific types of categories. So the best thing that we can do with this is use a bar graph. So if we come over here, you can see the bar graph is the best thing to use. It says make an appropriate display of the data. So it says the data shows the number of responses for each brand. Okay, so in each type of a category. So a bar graph would be the best display to compare these responses. So if I were to make a bar graph here, okay, I have my brands along the x-axis, the number of responses along my y-axis, and here is my title to my survey, favorite shampoo. So I can go back here and I can say, okay, how many people chose brand A? Well, I can look up here and say, hey, 35 people. How many chose brand B? Well, it looks to be about 12 or so. Am I correct in this? Yes, I am correct in this. We said, okay, brand C, hey, there's about 42. Brand D looks to be about 24. Brand E looks to be about 13. Am I correct on that? Brand E, my bad, 8. Should be down here. And then finally, brand F looks to be about 11 or so. Yes, I am correct there. So this is how we would make ourselves a bar graph, having our brands at the bottom, which is our specific, our categories, and how many times the responses have occurred on our y-axis here. Okay, let's look over here. What do we have next here? The table shows the number of members in the school orchestra from 2009 to 2012. Right there, I'm thinking, okay, we may have some time here. Select an appropriate type of display to compare the number of students in orchestra over the years. There we go. There's our key information there. Over the years, we're dealing with things over a period of time. As you see here, we have our years here, 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2012. And down here, which would be our y-axis, is the number of students who participated during those specific years. So yes, we do want to use a line graph for this one here. So as you take a look, make an appropriate display of the data. Well, since the table shows the change over time, a line graph would be best. So that's what we did here. We made ourselves a line graph. As you see down here at the bottom here at our x-axis, at our our x-axis here, we're dealing with the years. We have our 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. There really should be some type of a break here because we're not dealing with anything before 2009. So we can put a break in there. And up here are the number of participants in the y-axis. Okay, so as you see, all they did, they plotted the points in here. They plotted them, kept them along, and as you can see, then they connected the dots for our line graph there, which helps display our data over time. We can see what type of trend. We can see, hey, there was a drop from 2009 to 2010, but from 2010 to 2012, there was a steady increase in participation in orchestra. So guys, other than that, it's pretty basic information. Make sure you understand these different types of statistical displays. If you have any questions or concerns, please rewatch the video here. Make sure you understand the information. If you're still struggling, shoot me out an email and I'll help clear some things up for you. But other than that, guys, enjoy. Have a great Friday. You don't have to start on your homework until Monday, but if you want to do it now, it's located, as you know, down here at the bottom of the notes, and go from there. Other than that, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.